Hi, and welcome to Common Knowledge. This is a Magic the Gathering channel where we're going to focus on the Pauper format. And, inspired by another MTG creator, SBMTG, if you like Dev's work, and I certainly do. He's got a 10 random Magic cards rated. He rates them for casual Commander and some standard play or some other formats as well. And I like it. I like that series. And I thought, what if I just did that with Pauper? Did that with just the common format that is known as Pauper, because it's one of my favorite formats. And while I haven't 5-0'd any Pauper leagues or done anything like that, in fact, I don't even play Pauper on MTG Online. I just like that format so much, and I've made a bunch of decks, and I play it a bunch, and I just thought, yeah, I wanna learn more about the format, learn more about the cards in the format, and what better way than to just look at a handful of random cards each episode, take a look, see what they're about, and see if maybe they fit into some decks, and maybe I'll find a hidden gem. So let's pop into it. We're going to try to do, like Dev, 10 of these per time. So I've got this Scryfall page opened up only for Pauper cards, and we're just going to hit random each time and see what we get. So first card. There we go. God, took a while. Kite Sail Skirmisher. So Kite Sail Skirmisher is a 3 and a blue for a 3/1 human pirate with flying. And whenever Kite Sail Skirmisher attacks, another target creature attacking the same player or planeswalker gains flying until the end of the turn. It has Encore for 4 and a blue, which means you exile this card from your graveyard, and for each opponent, create a token copy that attacks that opponent this turn if able. They gain haste, sacrifice them at the end of the next end step, or at the beginning of the next end step, activate only as a sorcery. That's a lot of text. That's a lot of text, and as you can see, it's a Commander Legends card. This is kind of meant for Commander. I don't know how useful this would be in Pauper. Like, yes, you could. I mean, I guess I give something else flying. Like maybe you put this in like a ninja deck. Not really, because you have fairies already that are just much cheaper. 3/1 for 4 mana total is not that great. You're gonna get taken out by a lot of like Arms of Adar and a lot of other really cheap removal in Pauper. I don't think this is all that good. In terms of like rating it, I don't think the ratings on this really matter. I would not pay attention to my ratings nor my rating scale. I guess we'll go on a 10 scale though, just for fun to put numbers in here. I mean, it's fine. There's cards that give things flying that are way cheaper or more efficient at the very least. This is like a two, maybe two and a half, maybe. Again, it's so easy. It's so much mana to put in, and it's so quick to lose it that I don't think you're really going to get much out of it. All right. That was the first one. Let's go on to number 2. Number 2 is Invading Manticore, which costs 5 and a red for a 4/5 zombie Manticore. And when this creature enters, amass zombies 2. Also, too expensive. Are you paying 6 mana for a 4/5? Yeah, I guess when it enters, you also get a 2/2. So you're getting 6-7 worth of stats for 6 mana. I guess if you have a way to blink this, that's cool, but I don't know. I think you can get a whole lot more for your 6 mana. There's better blink targets. Pauper is too fast for this card, and it's not good enough that you would reanimate it. And red is also not that it's the worst reanimator color. I mean, you have lots of things that allow you to discard cards in red, so there's certainly a way to get this into the graveyard. But is this the one that you want to pull back out? I'm not really sure. It's certainly better than the last card. I think 4/5's decent stats to block a lot of stuff, to do a decent amount of damage. You're not going to be doing well against Talarian Terrors, although I guess you can double block. You have the second thing to double block a Talarian Terror. I 3.2 maybe. That's even probably a little too generous. This is probably more like you know what, I'd say 3. Let's go 3 on that one. All right, maybe we get something a little bit better. Magnifying glass. Okay. This is a 3-mana rock. Costs 3 for an artifact that taps for colorless, or you can pay 4 and tap it to investigate, which creates a clue token. And a clue, if you aren't familiar, it's an artifact that it's an artifact token that you can pay 2 and sacrifice to draw a card. Clue tokens, really big in Pauper. Lots of really cool cards that make clues, like Thraven Charm or Novice Inspector, or Thraven Inspector or Novice Inspector. Would you pay 4 each turn to make a token that you would then pay another 2 to draw a card? No, I don't think you would. It is, I mean, we're thinking, so this is an artifact and it can make artifacts. It can tap for mana. But are you going to put this in your affinity deck? I don't think you would. I don't think this is good enough for that. If it was 2 mana, we'd have a different conversation. Then we'd be talking about like a Mind Stone, and this card is no Mind Stone. No. I mean, it's okay. It's probably close to the Manticore. I might give it's maybe better than the Manticore. Like if you put this in, I don't know, you could put this in like a Tron deck. And if you have Tron, so you're paying 4 and then you're paying another 2, Tron has that mana. So you just get to draw an extra card every turn. It's not the worst thing, but there's just better ways of doing this. I think I would probably give this a 3.4, 3.5, maybe. Probably not even that. Maybe like a 3.3. Maybe a 3.3. All right. On to our 4th card, Juniper Order Root Weaver, which costs 1 and a white for a 2/2 human druid. It's got Kicker for a green, so you can pay an additional green as you cast this spell to get its Kicker ability. Let's see what that is. When this creature enters, if it was kicked, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. So not just it, which is good. You can put it on something else. It's actually kind of interesting. 2/2 for 2 is fine. It's not great, but it's fine stats. You're okay with that if it's got good enough gravy to it. And is this good enough gravy? Because you'd really be paying 3 to get the bonus. You have to be in Selesnya also, which does make this a little tougher, but not the worst. I mean, there's a bunch of Selesnya decks out there. And getting to put that +1/+1, you're already in white, so if you have the core Skyfishers that are allowing you to bounce stuff back to your hand, being able to keep playing and keep putting extra 1/1 counters on stuff, it's not awful, but I really do think the green in the Kicker kills this. If it was white in the Kicker, I think you could make an argument for this, but having to be in those 2 colors already, I think for a card that is borderline, having the second color there probably kills it. 2 cents though. It seems all right for 2 cents. I didn't play Dominaria United Limited, but I could see this being a decent limited card to just have out there. I think we're getting better. I think this is I think it's better than the Manticore. It's better than the other card that we saw, the first one. It's probably right around where the Magnifying Glass is. I think this is also like a maybe just a straight 3. Maybe just a straight 3. It's okay, but I don't think it's great. What do we got next? Haradrim Spearmaster comes from the Lord of the Rings set. It is 2 and a red for a 2/3 human warrior with reach, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gets +1/+0 until the end of the turn. It's not actually that bad. It feels a little odd being in red. Reach is not the first thing I think of, or red is not the first thing I think of when I think of reach, but it's pretty serviceable. I mean, 2/3 is not the best of stats, but it's good enough to block, Glinthawks and things like that. And then also getting the little bump for another creature. You're not putting this in like a goblins deck or something because it's a human warrior, but I don't know. I see the vision. I think the thing that really gets me is that it says another target creature you control. This thing can never make itself into a 3/3, and that's kind of a bummer. You have to have a second creature out for this to get its little bonus. Yeah, that's rough. I think if it could give it to itself, I might be a little bit more generous. Also, reach is not the best thing. Yes, it can block the core Skyfishers, but you really want this to have, I don't know, trample, maybe? Like if it could give something in 1/0 and trample, then we'd be talking. But that would also make it a much better card, and I don't think they would have wanted to make something that good. What's the other? Oh, it's got one of these versions. I don't really like those versions, but teach their own. I don't think this is all that great. I don't really see a deck that it necessarily goes in. You could just get something with Battle Cry that gives everything +1/+0. No, I'm not really a fan. I'd go maybe like 2. I don't know. Is it better than the last card we saw? I think I'd give this a straight 3. I give it a straight 3. 3 mana, 3 toughness, 3 power, technically, kind of. Yeah, I think we give it a 3. Not the best, not terrible. Core Sanctifiers is next, which is 2 and a white. Another thing that costs 3. Also has Kicker, but this time Kicker is a white, so you can just stay in white. There we go. Now it may. Hey, who knows? It's a 2/3 core cleric with Kicker white, and when this creature enters, if it was kicked, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Okay. 2/3 for 3, not the best stats. 2/3 for 4, worse. But you get something that can blow up an artifact or enchantment. I mean, I don't hate it. Originally from Plane Chase. Let's see the Plane Chase one. About the same. I think it's better than most of the cards we've seen today. Like just having that flexibility, like could it be a sideboard piece that you put in? I mean, again, if you're in white, so if you have a Skyfisher deck, you're bringing this back with Skyfisher. You play it again on another turn, kick it, and blow something else up, or you play it early, and then you can Skyfisher it back, and then kick it the next time. It's not the worst, but again, you're really just ending up with a 2/3 that you more or less overpaid for. And with that, I think that kills it. Like again, most of the arguments I feel like I'm going to be making as I do these is if something was a mana cheaper, it'd be so much better. And I think that's really the case here. Like if you could get a 2/3 for 2, and then if you pay an extra one, you get to naturalize or disenchant, I guess, since we're in white. Then we'd be having a real conversation. I don't I don't know if we're having a real conversation at this point, but we're having a conversation. Yeah, I think this might be the best card we've seen so far. I'd give it like a 4. 4? Like, it's workable. It's workable. We lost our repeat random search. Gonna have to get that back. Stench of Decay is 1 black for an instant. Our first instant that we've seen on the channel. Non-artifact creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. Huh. So you're in black. You're probably in mono black if you're doing 2 black pips. Although not necessarily. Would you put this in an affinity deck? Affinity, you have your own artifact creatures out, so you're not going to hurt your, Mirror Enforcers or, I don't know, an Ornithopter. Your, the rat that flies that we'll get to it. I put it in a bunch of decks. Everybody does. The 3/1 that when it comes into play, somebody has to discard. This doesn't kill that. But at the same time, it also doesn't kill any of the opponents. And if you have an opponent who is playing with artifacts or with affinity, then this card is not very good. Not very good at all. But, this would be a sideboard card. I almost positive this would just be a sideboard card. And if a sideboard card in affinity, this isn't that bad. This takes out a lot of stuff. Fairies and ninjas and white weenie stuff. Like, sure, if they're playing, I don't know, Silver Raven or Network Disruptor in blue, and those don't get played as often anymore. I think there's just generally better 1-drops in a fairies deck than either of those, or in any kind of blue ninja-y pile. This is pretty good, though. I don't hate this. I don't hate this at all. Man, this is pretty. I'd give this like a 6.5. Seriously, I think so. I could see myself playing an affinity deck that would play this, and you have black in a lot of affinity decks. Cheap. What's the other one look like? I think this is the better art, but not bad. I really don't hate this card. I think this card's really solid, actually. Yeah, 6.5. Pretty good. Spell Siphon is another instant. 1 and a blue for an instant counter. Target spell unless its controller pays 1 for each blue permanent you control from Shadowmoor. This also seems good. This also seems good. I think there's enough counter spells in Pauper that just are better than this. Normal counter spell is certainly better than this. Yes, you have to pay an extra blue, but you just counter it. Mana Leak can be worse than this, but most of the time is better than this. Abjure is something that a lot of people are playing now with more blue permanents like Cryogen Relic that get bonuses by leaving the battlefield, and Abjure wants you to sacrifice a blue permanent to also counter a spell. Costs less and only costs 1 for Abjure. I think this is cool, but where would you play it? Fairies has Spellsetter Sprite and Counterspell already. You're playing mono blue, so you don't really need to go into here. You got something like Spell Pierce for something cheaper earlier that you can play. This is something where you'd really have to have a bunch of blue permanents on the board already to make it really effective. And I guess Fairies does get there, but it gets there eventually. And I think you want to have your counter spells ready early. There's a lot of stuff you want to stop people from getting to set up. and this one doesn't really allow you to do it because it's like a 2-mana force spike. If you just have on turn 2, game this out for me for a bit. You play a turn 1, you play an island, you play a fairy miscreant or something like that. You get a 1/1 flyer out there. Turn 2, you play an island, and are you swinging in to bring in a ninja? And if you do, then you don't have the mana to use this again. So if you just pass, you just take you deal the 1 damage, and then you pass. If somebody tries to play a spell that you want to counter, now you've played basically a 2-mana force spike. You don't have to do it. You could just play force spike if you wanted to. It'd be cheaper and more efficient. But then you kind of wasted your turn, and also it's only a force spike. So when I initially saw it, I thought this is pretty good. And when I'm thinking about it more, the less and less I'm thinking about it. And now I'm starting to turn on it real hard. And I think maybe this is like counterspells are good. Counterspells are just good. You can get some really cheap blue permanents on the board too. You could end up flooding the board with a bunch of blue permanents, but this is a counterspell that works in the mid and late game, not a counterspell that works as well in the early game. And I think you just want your counters to be more versatile than that. I'd give this like a 4. It's solid. I see it, but I don't think it hangs in the useful cards. There's too many other good blue counterspells. Ooh, our first Champions of Kamigawa card. I love Champions of Kamigawa. It is not good, but I love this set a lot. This was I got into the game with Mirrodin and 8th edition. That's when I started playing. I had a friend who gave me a bunch of her cards when she went off to college, and it had a bunch of older stuff, like 5th edition stuff. But everybody at that point in my school was playing the new stuff. They were playing 8th edition, and then Mirrodin came out, and Mirrodin was so cool. And I think even us who realized that like we weren't playing competitively or anything. We were just playing, at lunchtime. We realized that once Kamigawa came out, like, these cards are so much worse. We should just keep playing with the Mirrodin ones. It was pretty obvious the power level went down, even from a non-competitive standpoint. But I don't know if it's just the weeb in me or what, but I dug Kamigawa. I think there's a ton of cool stuff in this set. I really like building commander decks with Kamigawa. I did make a Kamigawa. It's the Kamigawa block, the original Kamigawa block. I made a Pauper deck that just used a bunch of spirits. I don't think it's very good, but I was very proud that I made something like that. Anyway, let's see what Yamabushi's Flame's all about. I mean, I know what it is, but we're going to take a look at it anyway. It's 2 red for an instant. Yamabushi's Flame deals 3 damage to any target. If a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, you exile it instead. Yes, most of the Yamabushi stuff, the mountain mages, anytime they deal damage, if they kill something, it gets exiled instead. It's not great. You're basically paying 3 times what a lightning bolt costs to lightning bolt something, and if it's a creature and if you kill it, then it gets exiled. But I don't know, if it has indestructible already, you aren't killing it, and I just don't see. I don't see it. It costs too much. It costs way, way, way too much in a Pauper format that just has access to lightning bolt. You're never going to play this. Never. Not once. I give it like a 1.4, I guess. It's not good. It's not good. I love it. I'd play it. Not in Pauper, but I'd play it. It's not a good card. Let's keep it going. This is our last card of the day, I think, right? Yeah, this is it. And it's Inspiring Paladin from Foundations. This card is good to use in Standard, and good to use in Standard for 4 more years from when I'm recording this, so we've got a lot of time to play with Inspiring Paladin. Would you? Let's find out. It's 2 and a white for a 3/3 human knight. That's pretty good stats. During your turn, this creature has first strike. That's cool. And during your turn, creatures you control with 1/1 counters on them have first strike. That's kind of interesting. There's some 1/1 counter stuff. I'm actually not thinking of a lot of 1/1 counter synergies in the Pauper decks that I know. I mean, you can certainly get 1/1 counters on something. What is it? The Fangs one, Invigorating Fangs, not Inspiring Fangs. What's Let me look that up. Let me look that up real quick. Unexpected Fangs. That's what I'm looking for. That puts a 1/1 counter and a lifelink counter on a creature. 1/1 counter. Given that this thing gives it first strike, you already put lifelink on it. Could be cool. I mean, if anything, it's a 3-mana 3/3 with first strike. Yes, it's on your turn. You're not really blocking that well with it, but I think I don't know where it is. I haven't been able to make it myself, and I haven't seen anybody else make it to a useful degree. But I think there's an Orzhov Knights deck in Pauper somewhere. I think we're waiting for that deck to get made effectively. There's a handful of common knights that are okay, and I think if you could, there's some knight synergies as well that I think are relatively solid. There's a handful of decent common knights. We just haven't gotten quite enough of them that are really all that effective to get us to a point where we can really make that a legitimate deck. But I think it's close. I think it's only a handful of cards away. Is this one of the cards that makes that list? I don't think so. But it's not terrible. The stats are okay. The first strike is cool. If you have a Knights deck that plays with 1/1 counters, I think you would play this. But that's asking a lot. It's asking a lot right now. I don't think we're there. So with that in mind, I think this is probably something like a 4, maybe. It's okay. But I would really like for an Orzhov Knights deck to be a real thing in Pauper, and we'll maybe get there. All right, well, that was the experiment, and so far I like looking at cards. It's just a thing I like to do, and I certainly like talking about them. So we'll try this again next time. We'll see you then.